Good day, everyone. I am Grizel R. Ibasco. This video presentation is a course requirement of the subject in management and decision making. The purpose of this presentation is to explain the key concepts, methods, and importance of forecasting and scenario planning. Today, I will discuss scenario planning and forecasting. These two important strategic planning tools used by the organizations to anticipate future challenges and opportunities. Although these concepts are related, but they serve different purposes. Forecasting predicts the most probable future based on available data, whereas scenario planning prepares organizations for multiple plausible futures. Understanding these approaches enables educational leaders and policymakers to make informed decisions despite uncertainty. At the end of this presentation, you are able to define forecasting and scenario planning, distinguish between their characteristics, explain qualitative and quantitative forecasting techniques, describe the scenario planning process, and recognize their application in educational institution and strategic management. Organizations face uncertainty due to AI, climate change, geopolitical shifts, and policy changes. Organizations today operate in an increasingly volatile and uncertain environment. Technological innovation, artificial intelligence, globalizations, climate change, pandemics, and policy reforms constantly reshape organizational operations. That is why traditional planning methods that rely solely on historical trends are no longer sufficient. Therefore, leaders combine forecasting with scenario planning to enhance preparedness and resilience. What is scenario planning? Scenario planning develops multiple plausible futures to improve strategic decisions under uncertainty rather than predicting a single feature. Scenario planning differs from forecasting because it does not attempt to predict one feature. Instead, it develops several plausible futures based on uncertainties affecting the organizations. The objective is not accuracy, but preparedness. Organizations use scenario planning to explore possible risks, opportunities, and strategic responses before major changes occur. Scenario planning process generally consists of 8 steps. First, define the strategic issue or decision. Second, conduct environmental scanning using frameworks such as PESTEL, political, economic, social, technological, legal, and environmental. Third, identify major driving forces affecting the organization. Fourth, determine critical uncertainties. Fifth, construct multiple plausible scenarios. Sixth, analyze the implication of each scenario. Seventh, formulate strategic responses. Finally, continuously monitor environmental indicators and update scenarios as conditions change. What is forecasting? Forecasting estimates future events using historical data, trends, and statistical models to support planning and decision making. It means forecasting is the systematic estimation of future events using historical data and analytical techniques. It assumes that patterns observed in the past will continue into the future. Organizations use forecasting to estimate enrollment, budgets, staffing needs, economic growth, and market demand. The accuracy of forecasting largely depends on the quality of available data and the stability of the environment. Forecasting can be classified into qualitative and quantitative methods. When we say about qualitative forecasting, it relies on expert opinions, interviews, focus groups, and the Delphi technique. These methods are useful when historical data are unavailable or when predicting emerging issues. On the other hand, quantitative forecasting uses statistical and mathematical models such as time series analysis, regression, exponential smoothing, ARIMA, and increasingly machine learning algorithms to predict future outcomes. Although both methods support strategic planning, but they differ significantly. Forecasting asks what is most likely to happen, while scenario planning asks what could happen under different conditions. Forecasting generally produces a single estimate, while scenario planning develops multiple future scenarios. Forecasting is suitable for stable environments, whereas scenario planning is more effective in uncertain and rapidly changing contexts. Educational institutions increasingly apply forecasting and scenario planning in strategic decision making. Examples include in forecastings are students' enrollment, teachers' demand, school budgets, and infrastructure requirements. While in the scenario planning, it allows schools to prepare for uncertainties such as declining enrollment, curriculum reforms, AI integration, demographic changes, natural disasters, or future pandemics. So these approaches support evidence based educational leadership. Recent advances have transformed forecasting and scenario planning. Artificial intelligence enables predictive analytics capable of processing large data sets, while machine learnings improve forecasting accuracy by identifying complex patterns. However, big data allows organizations to analyze information in real time. Moreover, strategic foresight integrates human expertise, advanced analytics to create adaptive long term planning systems. In educational institutions, it increasingly adopting these technologies to support strategic decision making. For the strength and limitation, forecasting accurate in stable environments but weak during disruptions. It means forecasting performs well when environmental conditions remain relatively stable because it relies on historical patterns. However, unexpected events such as pandemics or economic crisis reduce its accuracy. In scenario planning, it enhances resilience but requires time and expert facilitations. Meaning to say, scenario planning addresses uncertainty by preparing organizations for multiple possibilities. Although It promotes organizational resilience and innovations. It requires substantial time, collaboration, and expertise to develop meaningful scenarios. Therefore, many organizations integrate both methods to strengthen strategic planning. To conclude, forecasting and scenario planning are complementary strategic tools. Forecasting estimates probable future outcomes using data and statistical models, while scenario planning prepares organizations for multiple possible future by considering uncertainties. In educational leadership, combining both approaches enhance organizational resilience, improve decision making, supports policy development, and strengthens long-term sustainability. As future educational leaders, we must embrace strategic foresight to navigate increasingly complex environments. The future cannot be predicted with complete certainty. However, through effective forecasting and scenario planning, organizations can reduce uncertainty, anticipate change, and make strategic decisions that ensure resilience and sustainable success. These are the references that I may use in this presentation. Thank you for listening.